And anticipation is building here at Buckingham Palace with less than 2 days to go before Charles is crowned king. But for his wife and rock Camilla, Saturday will cement a mighty transformation from world's most hated second women to Queen of the United Kingdom. A recent poll revealed only 14% of Brits support Camilla being called Queen, with her overall support wilting behind all royals except Princess Eugenie and Beatrice, disgraced Prince Andrew and treacherous Prince Harry. But for those who remember King Charles's wedding to the late Diana and who hold the people's princess so dearly in their hearts, there will be a feeling that this could and should have been her big moment. That feeling was captured perfectly by Diana's former private secretary Patrick Drepson, who wrote in the Daily Mail, "All of this rejoicing, with its tinge of triumphalism, may still feel slightly unsettling." So tonight I'm asking you this: do you accept Camilla as the new Queen? A very simple question. Let me know your thoughts down at gbnews.uk. Vote in our poll at GB News Now on Twitter. The results shortly. But doing battle on this now, the man himself, Diana's former private secretary, Patrick Drepson, editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, one of our regular royal contributors, Ingrid Seward, and Diana's former dress designer, David Emmanuel. He was, of course, very close to the late princess. So, Patrick, I read your column with a lot of fascination because you're incredibly measured. You're not taking any sort of cruel approach when it comes to Camilla, but you're just making a point that I think millions of Brits agree with, that we can't forget the impact Diana had.
Well, Dan, I think it was very well timed that you should mention those polls, that only 14% are happy with Camilla being called Queen. There may be lots of reasons for that, but there's no doubt that Diana herself recognized that she would probably never be Queen, but she wanted to be Queen in people's hearts. And it's in people's hearts that this battle is won or lost.
No, I totally agree. David Emmanuel, you don't feel you can accept Queen Camilla?
Well, look, it's highly charged, the whole situation. I'm behind the scenes, goodness knows what's going on. But, yeah, that's what we were sold on, weren't we? It was, I understood from Her Majesty the Queen, she said she should be Queen Consort. Now, suddenly, she's now going to be Queen. And it's very difficult because a lot of people have told me they're unhappy about it. So I'm not surprised by the polls at all. But I did hear, I don't know if you know this story, I heard that there was a coronation dinner, which obviously the King and Camilla was there. And apparently the Princess Royal, I don't know if you heard this one, the Princess Royal said, "You're not Queen, you're the Queen's consort." Did you hear that one? That's spinning around.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Now, I'm not one to spread
Wow, that's
gossip,
a fascinating
but this is what I've
revelation.
heard from quite a few sources. Yep. And it was a big...
Goodness gracious me. So,
yeah, there was a big
So to clarify,
showdown.
you have heard that Princess Anne said to Camilla's face
You're
that
not
you are
Queen.
Queen Consort, not Queen.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I
That's pretty
hadn't
sad.
heard
So you can
that.
imagine in the Abbey, I mean, it's going to be so emotionally charged. You've got Diana's sister, the Spencers will be there, Camilla's children will be there, and what are they all thinking? What is the country thinking? You know, it's a lot of emotion, but we have to remember it's a religious ceremony, of course, and, you know, we have to remember he was being bred to be king. It was always understood he was going to be king. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Well, Patrick would know more than I, but...
Well, I mean, I think that's fascinating because, Dan, one of the reasons I think there is so much doubt over Camilla's status in people's minds is the kind of game of semantics that the palace has played with us over the last 25 years. You may remember, Camilla was, first of all, just a friend. And then she was a non-negotiable friend. And then, okay, she was a lover. It's hard to deny after some of the tapes we heard. But the official line then was, yes, but there is no chance that Charles and Diana will separate. And when they did separate, there's no chance they will divorce. And when they divorced, there was no chance that Charles would remarry. And if he did remarry, he wouldn't marry Camilla. And if he did marry Camilla, she would not be anything more than just behind the scenes supporting her man. And then she might be princess consort when he ascended the throne, and then she was queen consort, and now, hey presto, she's queen. They have been playing games with us. It's a series of half-truths.
Absolutely. We've been drip-fed, haven't we, really?
And of course, we should point out that the Queen, well, indeed, and the late Queen herself, on the day that she had spent 70 years on the throne, only said that Camilla would be Queen Consort. So did the Queen ever sign up to the idea of Queen Camilla? I don't know. But look, Ingrid Seward, I know you feel differently on this. You think folk need to move on and accept Queen Camilla. Why?
I think that this is what King Charles wants. He's always wanted Camilla by his side. He wanted to marry Camilla. She didn't want to marry him. But I think he has, I mean, we might have been, as Patrick very eloquently put, we might have been diffused with all different stories. But Charles always said Camilla was non-negotiable, and in his heart, he wanted her at his side. He wants her to be crowned queen. I'm sure she's extremely nervous about this because she's very aware that there is forever a ghost of Diana. And I think she's nervous, but this is what Charles wants. And as king, this is what Charles gets. And I feel that we should, try and embrace it because they're being a modern couple. I mean, there are so many divorcees getting remarried.
Indeed. And look, I've really wrestled with this, Patrick Jepson, over the last few months. I'm not going to lie. I initially was not comfortable even with the idea of Camilla being Queen Consort, but I spoke to Paul Burrell on the show, and he said, look, by this point, Dan, Diana herself would have moved on. She would have accepted this. I mean, you obviously knew Diana incredibly well. You worked for her for years. Do you think Diana, in 2023, if she was still here, would be okay by now with the concept of Queen Camilla?
I think a lot would depend on how well her husband or ex-husband treated her.
Yeah.
In his lifetime, he wasn't terribly good at treating her well, or even with respect.
Yeah.
And I think Diana was a wise person, mature beyond her years in many ways. She understood human nature. She loved her husband. And more than once, to me, she recognized that he needed this person. And I think that Diana would have, of course, she wanted his happiness. She wanted her children's happiness. And in the fullness of time, if she was properly, respectfully treated, it's not impossible that she might have been sitting next to Andrew Parker Bowles in the congregation on Saturday. That would be a picture I would have been very interested to see. Imagine what they would have had to discuss.
What may have been, because you're very right to point out, of course, Camilla's ex-husband will be at the Abbey to see his ex-wife become queen, which is extraordinary in itself. My goodness, you three, absolutely incredible. I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much. Diana's former private secretary, Patrick Jepson, the editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, and with all the scoops tonight, Diana's wedding dress designer, David Emmanuel. But who do you agree with? Do you accept Camilla as the new queen? Matthew writes via Twitter, yes, I do accept Queen Camilla. She's done a lot of good, especially supporting victims of domestic violence. Her Majesty loves our king and will continue to be a great support to him. Katie on Twitter writes, we all have Diana in our hearts, but we can't get her back. Diana never hated Camilla. She told Ingrid Seward that it wasn't her who shattered her marriage to Charles, but those around them. And from Celia, I will absolutely not accept Queen Camilla. Queen Consort, fine, but she can never live up to Queen Elizabeth II. And your verdict is now in. I thought this one would be split, and it is. 60% of you say you will accept Camilla as your new queen. 40% of you say you won't. So this is still a nation divided on the issue of Queen Camilla.